Hello and welcome to Self Talk. I'm Rachel Astarte. My guest today is Cetvies, a human rights activist. She campaigns and writes about human trafficking, environmental rights, animal rights, LGBTQ issues, and spirituality. Cetvies, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel.
So, you have such a long and varied list of interests. Um, the first question I have is, how did you get into activism?
I think there's two sides of it. Is to have noticed firsthand injustices and situation where people were suffering chronically because of other people or because of institutions. And the second side of it is through reading. One of well, through social sciences reading, and to realize it took me this to realize that our structural suffering and abuses might be so.
Yeah.
And it's quite bizarre, in fact, because I admit that if I had been more thoughtful about what I had seen with my own eyes, I should have understood that it was chronic and institutionalized. But it took me working toward a degree in social sciences, and because my specialty is human rights and political sciences. It took me reading authors specialized in social struggles and so forth to real and also history, to realize that uh, it's not an accident if things are like this.
Yeah. So something called you. What was the first topic that got you interested in activism?
Um, my initial plan was to help orphan in Africa. Yeah, I'm French, so it's kind of very basically.
Mm-hmm.
I like kids. It happens I'm a LGBT woman, and so with a passion for traveling, and I was okay not having children on my own, and so it was what triggered it all, and an interest in the uh, studying culture and studying society.
Mm-hmm. So it was orphans in Africa. Were you able to travel?
No. That was the initial plan. Is what I strove for quite a long while. But in fact, this is to do more with humanitarian law, and it's different from human rights. And you understand when whatever it is with humanitarian of human rights is very specialized people uh, who happen to work uh, in some places. So it's gonna be doctors, nurses,
Right.
or people in logistic and so forth. So profession you well. I didn't, well, I couldn't be doctor, but even if I could have been, it's not medical is not my thing. Logistic is not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, its first plan was aborted, but um, I volunteer against, for example, child marriage, and well, it's a way of being close to this. Um, Totally different, but in Africa and the Middle East are the main countries where LGBT people still are under death penalty, or 10, 15, 20 years of imprisonment.
Yeah.
just to be tagged as LGBT.
Yeah.
So this is for for Africa. So I'm still connecting more or less distantly from this subject, but
Right.
yes.
Right. And that's a difficult position to be in, and I remember when I had traveled to India several times, there was at that time it was also still illegal, to be gay was practically a death sentence, and there
I
was a
think
lot of activism there too.
okay, yeah. I think it's only 2015 that India decriminalized LGBT
Yeah.
acts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was there in 2003, and there was a gay film
Well,
festival, which was a huge thing for people to even show up to it,
d'accord.
and
Yeah.
but it's obviously it's a topic that's very close to my heart as well, and we have to get out there and do what needs to be done. And of course, June is Gay Pride, so and we were talking before the show started about how difficult it is to even go out because of the pandemic, not being able to really feel comfortable, perhaps, to go out and support. Yeah, so we have to do what we can do from where we can.
Yes, and plus is I think this is in fact extremely frustrating. I mean, I'd been a few years stopped going to gay prides because I was going every year, and bon, every year it's a bit the same. I am not someone very, socializing in publics or something like this. So,
Mhm.
but it certainly is. Very frustrating, and more so regarding lesbian communities, mainly might be and transgenders as well, because of being so much of minorities,
Yeah,
where we can so much struggle just to meet other people,
yeah,
just to meet other people.
that's really true.
uh,
That's really true.
it's why I think we've been well, gay men have been so much stigmatized to be, oh yeah, you go to bars, you go to
Hmm.
sauna,
Hmm.
because there is absolutely no alternative places to other places to go. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, me, I'm from the countryside. When I realized how very, very sad, deeply sad I was being on my own all the time, the one objective I had was to go to straight to Paris and have a life there. And then you work, you study, you are with other kind of people. Also, in me conceptually, I thought I am no different from heterosexual, so I don't see why I wouldn't live with heterosexual and just wait for my like if I had lived like anyone else
mm,
and just wait for a girlfriend to turn up, right? But it didn't. It really doesn't work like this. So
no,
also there is this reality in lesbian lives, but you've got to you may have to concentrate everything around how you can meet other women. That is to say, go to places but in fact, it's absorbing all your life,
yeah,
because all your weekends of all your free time is and
right.
it's a bit of that. And I thought I was very, very um someone isolated, and maybe I was one uh, in 100 in this situation like this. And it's and I realized that I met older women
Mm,
that more or less had the same problem, so not the same life, because everyone at you know they have other profession, they have other financial situation, they have other way of coping, they have other needs as well, and so forth. So everyone is different, but what was really recurring in many of lesbian life was a complete solitude,
Mm,
complete complete being on one's own, because gay men have got a way to encounter people. Female really less, really less.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
worried about it.
yeah, I live very close to New York City. Lots
Right.
of lesbian bars, lots of,
Yeah.
all that kind of thing. It's a different culture.
Yeah.
But, for someone who is already not very social,
Huh.
I know for myself, I
Huh.
like being at home. I like
Huh.
being alone. How
Yeah.
do you meet somebody,
Yeah.
when you're already just like I did? The bar scene is not my thing. It's never been my thing, and it's not, so how do you meet people is what I'm hearing you
But
say.
even when it's your thing, because when you get, when you tried that and that, what shocked me as well, it's how many organizations say they exist, and when you try to contact people, there is no one.
Mm,
And when it comes to the leisure of entertainment or bar industry, well, people, it's young people.
right. Yeah.
It's young people.
Yeah.
Not gonna date anyone there. It's And what I came to realize, with trying to meet people for organizations, is that there's many youth organizations where they've
Right.
got funding and so forth. And this, when you are youth, okay, varies. When for women older, things are disappearing. Another funny thing as well is, student organizations and youth organization are in fact uh, like controlled by people who identify as bisexual.
Mhm.
And when you meet them 10 years after, they are no more bisexual.
Mm,
They are the heterosexual, homosexual part just went out of
huh.
the window. They are married. They have, yeah. I'm not saying it's a general rule, but um, I've been in touch with two very different youth organization and student organization. So, and the people I knew back then uh, are not bi anymore.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
interesting because it doesn't seem like something you could just turn off. You can be bisexual and be married.
yeah. I'm not sure though. What I think you can turn off is certainly like, if you really it depends, but let's say a bit general. When you feel you are dying without a female at 20, it means that you're never gonna turn this off, because this is the reality of what you are.
Hmm.
Now, if you decide to go with females because you are open sexually, this is very different situation. And though both situation you will call a bi person, I mean, there is very different from when you die if you are not with a person you want to be with. Is
Right. Yeah. It definitely lowers the amount of people you can find comfort with, in terms of a romantic relationship when that's it. That's what you have, you know. And
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, well, of course, in this society, yes, because even since homosexuality is like targeted. Yes.
Mhm.
So even so in fact is homosexual people that have got normal needs in terms of affection and
Yeah.
conjugality and so forth, you kill them. If you
Mhm.
refuse this to them, you just kill them. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that. Of course, if you are bisexual, then they tell you, if you want to be very unhappy, if you want us to make very unhappy, you go to homosexuality. And we make sure that you are in big trouble, you see.
Mm.
So of course, if you I'd say still like the opposite sex, then you will you might find happiness as well as with same sex. So
Right.
this is like this. You are uh, yes, bisexual. I think that there is many women bisexual that would never consider going with a woman, even if it was a better match, because of worries of just like it might happen, like if you think that you find the someone that you love, really love, but it happens that they are poor, or they are for foreign country,
Right.
or that your parents are about to disinherit you if you dare marry them, and
Right.
the same thing, same
Mhm.
thing.
But that's sort of what the activism is about, is to say there is that wide spectrum of sexuality and everyone has a place in it, no matter what it is that you, no matter who it is you love. The idea, even in pansexuality,
Mhm,
where it's about, it really doesn't matter what's going on physically. It's about that spirituality and of
mhm,
course sexual attraction to that being,
mhm,
as opposed to just whatever the genetic makeup is, the gender, the sexuality, that kind
mhm.
of thing. And that's why the activism is so important, is that there has to be room at the table for everybody, and everyone's desires. uh,
Yeah, yeah, but it is true. I mean, it is a sexuality thing, but it's also it's very good. It's a sexuality thing because it's eros thanatos, so it means that in fact it gives you the capital strength to go against people who just want um, to make you slave
yeah.
by uh, imprisoning you with their own um, yeah, what I'm absolutely sure is that this vendetta against homosexuality is just a very, very discreet way and endemic way, cross culture and cross generation and so forth, to make other people slaves.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a complete control on marriages, and complete control on love, and on relationship, and so forth. So to me, it's the best invisible and omnipresent instrument to discrete slavery. It's what it is.
Mm.
So, but it is beyond sexuality as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it would be, maybe it would be only sexuality would be less of a problem, because then uh, more elusive arrangement could happen, and who would care? Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this is also a big problem about conjugality, and so
Right.
it's affecting all aspect of life, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Mm.
sure. And I think that's the other part of it too, since this is the podcast self-talk, and how do we identify who are we, and and who we love is part of who we are. And so yeah, it's absolutely important for us to take the time to figure out who that is, but also to stand up and say, I'm not afraid of whatever it is. This is who I am, this is who I love. And that's not an easy thing to do, especially when there's so much at risk. As you said, your family may disown you. You're, maybe you have trouble at work. It's very difficult to step out and just say, well, this is it. And I was also hearing from you that you know wanting to just be who you are shouldn't be such a big deal, right? Just to be lesbian or bisexual or a gay man or transsexual or whatever you are, you know, getting to the point of saying, I would like to just live a life of joy and contented life without having to make a big, having to work so hard, and I think that's part of the activism as well.
Yeah, it is true, yeah. But it's why it's so delectable in a way for people who have control over this, is because if people start having control over who you love, you can love. Love is the strongest things that is happening in one's life. Is the unconditional part where we know that we can go beyond. Is just that, and denying that to someone is the surest way to dehumanize them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So that explains why the activism is just so essential.
Yeah, and explain also we get related to this strength. Me, I met older women, because not in the sense that they were older, but older than 20, older than 25, and they are there. They are in their 30s, and they come for the first time to a meeting. In the center of Paris, there's a big quarter there, LGBT quarter. In France, it's rather a lot of organizations are kind of help nationally and so forth. So there's a big quarter in Paris, and they will tell you, yes, I've been knowing for a while, but I can't. I don't know what to do. And also there is this what shocked me, there is this realization already that things will be very complicated even before they started, right? Which me was not in my, which the thing that personally I didn't understand. But because I might have been in this generation where when you talk about decriminalization in India, the decriminalization in Europe is not so long ago. On the BBC this week, you had this guy, he's 79, that when he was 20, he was, you go to prison if you, and I swear they met, and they kiss everyone in the street to say, we are kissing now, and we are kissing in the street, and get used to it. But the moment they did that, they could end up in jail for doing so. And yes, and the amount of, for example, of suicide in the LGBT community. Still here, still was there at my age, while LGBT Act have just been decriminalized and so forth. But if you go to work and they told you no dog, no black, no Irish, and no homos is the final. You can go to work trying to to bring, I don't know, to look after children. If the children are abused in front of you,
Right.
it doesn't matter. What is gonna matter is not gonna be the people, what they do with children. It's gonna be, are you LGBT? No, you are not. Ciao, find another
Yeah.
job. Yeah, yeah.
It's astounding to me that in the 21st century that's still the case.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's shameful, really. So let me ask you, what can be done? What can be done for the listeners? What can we do? I'll give you an example. My son is 11, and we were talking about human rights, and this was 2 days ago. And I knew I was going to be interviewing you, and I said, I'm going to ask Cetvies." He said to me, well, what can I do, mom? I'm just 11. I'm a kid. What can I do to help? And so I put the question to you, either for an 11-year-old or for any of us, what can we do to be more active, whether it's LGBTQ or veganism or, human trafficking or human rights in general?
Um, even no long ago, I would say, you have to read, you have to be aware about these things, because this is very important. And in fact, more and more now, people, activists say, we have like episode about the. Our good is awareness, right? Because we understand, but even for me, I understood, but it took me 10 years to understand. It's not taking me, but step by step, stage by step, you go refusal after refusal. You kind of you try to spread the word about child marriage and the against what communities might you have very precise information about that, and people are not interested.
Mm,
They aren't, right? Even professional people whose job it is, yes, on such account as religious child marriage,
mm,
child marriage through religion, they will tell you, no, no, sorry, it's not. It's very interesting. We know about that. Thank you for your email, but it's not something we can do. It's not Manda is not under our agenda. We are not paid to do that, and they are the one organization that are paid to do that.
wow.
Like against slavery and against sexual slavery, it's since 2017 that child marriage are recognized as being human trafficking per se.
Mm,
And we are yeah, and I mean, it's a bit, let's say the awareness thing is a bit kind of almost uh, I think many people are counting on them, and I was the first at it. Because I tried to spread the word really badly, yeah.
mm,
But I mean, it's been since told this way, that my mother tell me, you know what, in Africa there is children that they don't have water, they don't have
right.
food. You have to realize this and so forth. Yeah, and what changed? You see,
Yeah, yeah.
but what I would say to a 11-year-old, and the one I wouldn't have children, and two, I would say it's one by one.
Mm,
It's if you see that there is an injustice, that someone who is badly treated, or by is sad, and then yeah, so you've got to step in.
yeah. So if you see something, do something about it
Yeah,
in every instance. That's
yeah,
very
yeah,
good
yeah.
advice. Yeah.
I mean, at least it's in front of your eyes, and even for at every level, it's this gesture you need to do. But now it is true that it might be complicated, because plus things I think in life are so complicated that it might be complicated to be helped. It might be
Mhm.
and this I think is how it's so structural, is that at one point there is uh, you don't know how to help, basically.
Mm. Mhm.
You might be in situation where you don't know you don't know how to help,
Yeah.
and this uh, if situation are unbalanced, is will you be balanced enough to help, and
Mhm.
also you have to be sure that you help correctly,
Yeah.
because help for the same sake of helping is not. This is Peter Tatchell. I've got also this same approach. Is because I'm not gonna quote him because it's not what I would say, but um, what he says is that before, as LGBT people, so it's something else, but uh, the initially the movement wanted things better for everyone, something that was changing for everyone. They didn't ask for heterosexual rights.
Mhm.
For example, if misogyny was it was the base of let's say a heterosexual style of society, homosexual wouldn't have asked for misogyny to be replicated. So it's
Right.
it is this, and also it's uh, yes, the way you can help, it's essential, and it's why I think everyone is blocked, because if you say to someone, yeah, let's be all rich and we all take planes and we all I mean, we are all in it, mind, because rich or poor, we just have to buy these tons of plastic that we know that the next generation is gonna have to
That's right. Right.
couldn't get rid of their bodies, and so yeah,
Yeah. So there's just so much. So what I'm hearing you say is, when you see something happening, do the best you can. Be
yeah.
aware of the kind of help you're giving, because it may not be the right kind of help, but you have to really pay attention to the situation at hand, and I would say trusting what's right. Just, there's a general sense of what is correct. So, and hurting other people is not correct. And so no matter how you help in that situation, it's going to be a positive result if you're stepping in when someone's rights are being abused, or someone as a human being is not being honored as a human being, no matter who they
Yeah,
are.
yeah, no, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, no, don't
Well,
hesitate.
Setvi, it's been wonderful having you on the show. How can listeners find you and your writing?
Alors, bon, I'm Cetvies is my pen name, and my main blog is called In the Name of Human Rights.com.
Okay, so I will make sure that's in the show notes so
Thank you
that
very
people can
much.
read all
Mm-mm.
about and you keep it, it's a very long website. There's a lot of information there, so I highly recommend everybody to go and check that out. And that's certainly one way to get educated, which is the other part that we need to do if we're going to do any activist work at all. So,
No, no, for sure.
yeah,
I agree with you, but is going through schools and so forth. And in fact, discreetly, we've got a lot of problems because, for example, governments don't want to integrate, as LGBT, we've got a lot of problem. Huh? There is
yeah,
parents that say, no, 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 you can't say that homosexual couple exist, right? They don't do the same yeah, whatever. And so let's not talk about LGBT, but also against objective that the UN and the government should have to reduce carbon, to stop using plastic, and
right.
the whole industry on top.
Yep.
They know they are creating, schools is the bed to new industries and to new organization, and to train people, children to enter active lives and so forth.
Yeah.
So it has to be a part of education to say no, species, you don't kill, you look after your countryside, and you stop poisoning everything. It should be part of the curriculum.
Absolutely.
But governments are active at suppressing it.
Yes, exactly. So a good place to start is inthenameofhumanrights.com. Please visit. Cetvies, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Bye.